When the tsunami came, David Mitchell protected by Yuegwang. He yelled at me in the cockpit. You knew there was a tsunami but still took Emma out to sea, you vicious woman. I steered the ship desperately and finally broke through the waves. But David asked the bodyguards to tie me to the bow of the boat, to let her also feel the feeling of being hit by the waves. The waves broke my bones. The shark tore my body apart. 3 days later, David finally remembered me. He said casually, "That woman knows she is wrong, right?" The butler's voice trembled. Madam has been bitten to death by a shark, and no body is left." Hearing this, David snorted coldly. That woman is so cunning that she even dared to disappear. It seems that she hasn't suffered enough. Blocked the entire ocean. I want to see where she can hide. But later, David found half of my finger in the shark's mouth. He's crazy. 01. The third day of being tied to the bow, David finally remembered me. Holding a red wine glass, he asked casually, "Does Sophia Brown know she's wrong?" Butler Murray was so scared that he was sweating profusely. After a long while, he replied tremblingly, "Mr. Mitchell, her husband, her wife has disappeared." Madam was eaten by a shark. The wine glass in his hand was crushed, and David snorted coldly. "Butler Murray, I think you are tired of living. Listen to what you said, don't you think it's outrageous? Well, after tying her up for 3 days and 3 nights, she should know she's wrong. Go tell that woman that I'll let her go as long as she's willing to apologize to Emma." Butler Murray immediately knelt on the ground. "Mr. Mitchell, I am not lying. Madam was really eaten by a shark. Not even a scrap was left. We fished for quite some time but only found a handful of hair." After saying that, Butler Murray handed over a wooden box. There was a tuft of hair inside. Black, long, straight hair. There was a flash of panic in David's eyes, but it was soon covered up. He raised his eyes and glanced at me calmly. "Don't think you can fool me by just messing with a few hairs. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child?" After saying that, he asked Butler Murray to take him to the place where I was tied up. "That's the front of the yacht. The wind and waves are the strongest there. Every wave that comes can break my bones." Butler Murray pointed to the bottom of the boat in despair. "It's gone. The lady is really gone." David stood on the deck and looked down from the bow. But there was nothing under the boat except the bloody marks left by my struggle. David sneered, "See? This is the handprint of her climbing up. This woman is very clever. I really underestimated her." 02. This time, Emma Johnson came out of the cabin, her face pale, and she stumbled into David's arms. "Brother David, what happened?" Then she looked down the boat and said, "Oh, I feel dizzy. My fear of the deep sea has come back. David, I'm so scared." David picked up Emma and covered her eyes affectionately. "Don't look, you are timid." As he walked towards the cabin, he turned back and told the butler, "That woman dared to disappear, make sure to find her for me." Emma threw herself on David's shoulder, breathing weakly. "Brother David, please stop punishing Sister Sophia. Although she grew up by the sea and is very good at swimming, she couldn't handle it. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have followed her to the sea and made you worry." Hearing Emma say this, David felt even more distressed. He glanced in the direction I disappeared. "It's because you're too kind that that woman took advantage of you. Did she lie to you that you could see pink dolphins today? She lied to me before, too." Emma burst into tears. "It's all my fault. Sister Sophia just said something casually. I insisted on coming here. I almost killed everyone. Everything is my fault. Don't blame Sister Sophia." "Emma, it's not your fault. It's that damn woman's fault. She lied all the time and was very vicious. It's time for her to be taught a lesson." 03. Hear this. I laughed. "I'm a marine biologist and have spent my life searching for pink dolphins. Pink dolphins are extremely rare and have very high scientific research value. There is also a legend in the ocean world that ordinary people will be lucky in their lives if they see a pink dolphin, and couples will live together forever if they see a pink dolphin. 5 years ago, David and I weren't in a relationship yet. That day I received a report that traces of pink dolphins were found in the sea area I am responsible for. I went looking for it regardless of everything. When David heard that we might see pink dolphins, he got on the boat with me without saying a word. Unfortunately, not only did we not see any dolphins, we also encountered a storm. The satellite communication phone was damaged. We were isolated and helpless and drifted on the sea for half a month. He was shivering and frothing at the mouth due to hypothermia and fainted. I used my body to warm him. Without fresh water, he was on the verge of dehydration. I cut my wrists and fed him with my blood. The first thing he did after he woke up was to propose to me. He said that although he didn't see the pink dolphin, meeting me was the luckiest thing in his life. So, hearing him say that, I really wanted to rush over to question him and ask him if he had never believed in me. I asked him if he blamed me for everything that happened 5 years ago. But I can't do it, because I'm already dead. 04. After coaxing Emma to sleep, David found housekeeper Murray again. Even if I have to turn the boat upside down, I will find Sophia for me. Emma is right. Sophia grew up by the sea and is very good at swimming. She must have hidden somewhere. I just tied her to the bow to let her calm down, but she played the disappearing trick. When I find her, I will definitely teach her a lesson. But he finished. With trembling hands, he took out his cell phone and made a call. I recognized that number. It's from the Ocean Search and Rescue Team. He said, "My wife may have fallen into the sea. Send someone here quickly. I need support. Block the nearby islands. Check the people who came ashore. Immediately. Immediately. I can pay any price." After hanging up the phone, he fished out a postcard I had sent him before, with a picture of a little pink dolphin on it. He stared at the dolphin in a trance. I don't know what I remembered. Suddenly he tore the postcard into pieces and threw it into the sea. Liar, all liars, it's not enough that they lied to me, they also lied to Emma. 05. Turn out to be. He thought I was the one who tricked Emma onto the ship. But it was clearly she who insisted on going out to sea with me. At that time I decisively rejected her. The sea is very dangerous. Don't think it's calm now. It may be stormy in the next second. Sophia-san, do you mean there will be a tsunami today? I didn't want to pay attention to her, so I just said, that's not necessarily true. Tsunamis are relatively rare. Sophia, do you think there are really pink dolphins in this world? I didn't even look up. Of course. Because I have analyzed the movements of pink dolphins, the probability of encountering one today is very high. Unexpectedly, Emma recorded these words and sent them to David, cutting out the beginning and the end. She acted very silly and innocent. David, Sophia said we will see pink dolphins today. She wants to take me out to sea. If we see dolphins, I will take a photo for you. I want to witness the miracle with you. After saying that, she sneaked into the boat while I wasn't paying attention. 3 hours later, the monitoring station received a tsunami warning. David came to us angrily with a group of people on a private yacht. Strong winds and heavy rains at sea triggered a tsunami. The boat was about to capsize. It was me who turned the tide, relying on my many years of sailing experience. His hands were covered with blisters, but he still managed to control the boat, successfully avoiding the huge waves and saving everyone on the boat. But David turned around and blamed me. He said that I knew there was a tsunami but still insisted on going out to sea, and deliberately brought Emma, who had a fear of the deep sea, onto the boat. It was me who almost killed everyone. He pointed at my nose and cursed at me, saying that this was how I coaxed him into marrying me many years ago. Everyone on the boat looked at me with contempt. I heard someone say, "That's disgusting. That's how you become Mrs. Mitchell. Isn't this just forcing oneself? This woman is really unscrupulous in order to get to the top. Yeah, she almost killed all of us this time. She really deserves to die." I can't make any argument. He ordered me to be tied to the bow of the boat. He said he wanted to teach me a lesson. The sailors bared their yellow teeth with ill intent. I really want to taste Mrs. Mitchell. As they dragged me, they pinched my thigh and said, "Your skin is so tender." After taking advantage of me, he tied me tightly to the bow of the boat. "But David, I have your child." These words disappeared in the wind and waves. David couldn't hear. 06. After 2 days of struggling under the boat, I was bitten in the stomach by a shark. The blood dyed the nearby sea red. Other sharks smelled blood and swarmed over to eat me up. Me, along with the newly formed baby in my belly, disappeared in the sea. A school of sharks rammed David's luxury private yacht. At that time, David was hugging the adorable Emma and looking at the stars. Hear the shark strike. Butler Murray asked if we wanted to go and take a look. David glanced at Emma in his arms and said coldly, "No need for that. She's usually so stubborn, but now she's begging for mercy by slapping the boat? She looks quite strong. It's only the second day, so don't let her go in a hurry. Let her suffer a little more." That night, me and the baby in my belly. No chance of rescue. 07. There was no trace of me on the bow, only a string of bloody handprints. David leaned on the sofa, supporting himself with his hands and massaging his brows vigorously. He looks like he's in a bad mood. He must be upset because of my disappearance. Yes, why can't I just admit my mistake and beg for his forgiveness like I did before? At this time, Emma happened to come in. She held a bowl of hot porridge in her hand. "David, you haven't eaten for a day. Have some porridge. I made seafood porridge for you. The seafood porridge is steaming. It should smell nice, but unfortunately I can't smell it." David took the bowl of porridge and probably felt that the taste was not right, so he only took a bite and put the bowl aside. "I can't drink it." After saying that, he closed his eyes and ignored Emma. I floated over and took a look. It turned out that Emma made a bowl of abalone porridge. David's least favorite seafood is abalone. David actually doesn't like eating seafood. Later, because of me, he started to try eating seafood. He has been eating seafood for 4 or 5 years, and his favorite is the mushroom and scallop porridge I make. He used to be tired every time he worked. I will make a cup of soup for him. No matter how late it was, he would always drink until there was not a drop left. After Emma left, David picked up the phone. He asked the kitchen to make him a bowl of mushroom and scallop porridge. But when the kitchen is ready and served, he held the porridge in his hand and stared blankly for a long time, but still didn't drink it. He frowned, covered his stomach, and beads of sweat dripped from his forehead. He seemed to have a stomachache. He searched the cabinet for a long time but couldn't find the stomach medicine, so he took out his cell phone to make a call. I called several times but no one answered. He cursed angrily, then smashed the phone, slid down the wall, and sat down on the ground dejectedly. I floated over and took a look. It turned out that he dialed my number subconsciously. David has always had stomach problems, and I am usually responsible for organizing the medicine box at home. He didn't know where the medicine was. He never had to worry about these things before because I was the one who kept his life in order. Now he can't find the medicine and starts thinking about me. 08. Butler Murray and the people on the ship did not sleep all night. They searched the whole ship but couldn't find me. "Mr. Mitchell, we have searched 3 times and still can't find any trace of Madam." "Do you think Madam is she really?" "Shut up. That woman is very tough. Even if you all die, she won't die. She must be hiding on a nearby island. Search. Don't miss any of the nearby islands. Things have come to this." He still doesn't believe I'm dead. I suddenly felt a little curious. If he really knew I was dead, what will be the reaction? 09. The ship finally docked. David ordered everyone to get off the boat, cut off the water and electricity, and seal it tightly. He said, "If this woman is still hiding on the boat, I want to see how long she can hold out. Also send out all the helicopters, drones, and search and rescue boats at home. I don't believe that we can't find her." Emma saw that David looked unhappy and quickly comforted him. "Brother David, don't be angry. What if you get angry and your body gets damaged? I believe that Sister Sophia didn't mean it. She just wanted to play a little. When she has had enough fun, she will come back." David was so angry that he turned red. "If you have the guts, never come back." He was actually right. This time, I can never go back. After marrying David, I haven't been out to sea for a long time. For him, I gave up my beloved career and devoted myself to cooking. Life was pretty good in the first few years of my marriage, until the day Emma returned home. Emma is David's childhood sweetheart. The two of them grew up together. When Emma was 18, her parents died in a car accident. Emma's mother took her last breath and entrusted Emma to the Mitchell family. 6 years ago, the Mitchell Group's Seaside Resort project was officially launched, and he was assigned to the resort. Emma also received an offer from a foreign school that year. The two of them parted ways. It was also in that year that David met me, who was working at the seaside. No one in the Mitchell family thought highly of us. Everyone said that David loved Emma. I just took advantage of the opportunity. I said, "Forget it, we are not suitable." But David at that time, despite everyone's opposition, said that he would marry no one else in his life. He went against everyone's opinion, disobeyed the elders in his family, and resolutely married me. Everyone also said, "Mitchell always married you because you saved his life." He was just returning the favor. But David sent those who gossiped to jail. He did a lot for me and I thought his love was real. Until the day Emma returned home, he suddenly changed. He started staying out all night and became increasingly cold towards me. In order to divert my attention, I devoted myself to the marine industry. This time, Emma insisted on following David to inspect the seaside resort and to visit her sister-in-law, who worked at the Marine Research Institute. I was actually planning to file for divorce from David. This baby came at a really bad time. After discovering the pregnancy, the divorce was put on hold. But I didn't have time to tell him about the baby. That's what happened, he was tied to the bow. Whatever. He will probably never know. He once had a child. 10. Because I haven't reported to the aquarium for several days. The aquarium's director, Perkins, noticed something was wrong. He immediately found David and asked me where I was going. The trace of the pink dolphin that day was sent to me by the curator. He knew that I had been to the sea. I also know that I encountered a tsunami. He knew me very well. I had enough sailing experience and a tsunami was not enough to trap me. He was puzzled as to how I could have disappeared. So let's question David. David lied to him. "Oh, Sophia had a fight with me, she drove the lifeboat and ran away." Director Perkins didn't believe him at all. Sophia would not abandon a boatload of people and leave. She knew that a tsunami warning had been issued. She would not leave until she brought all of you to shore safely. Director Perkins could hear David's impatience from his tone. He gave a stern warning. "Please find Sophia and make sure she's safe, or I'll call the police." David hung up the phone without waiting for him to finish. He remembered what Director Perkins had said. "I'm not leaving a boatload of people behind." Just like 5 years ago. I didn't abandon him when he was dying. At that time, Sophia gave him all the food and fresh water on the boat without hesitation, and later she used her own blood to feed him, giving him a glimmer of hope. So this time, did Sophia really escape on her own? David shook his head again. But if it weren't for that woman 5 years ago, how could I have gotten on the ship and how could I have encountered that storm? Just like this time. If she hadn't coaxed Emma, how would Emma have gotten on the boat? She knew very well that Emma was timid and had a fear of the deep sea, and she did it on purpose. She is the one who started it. David felt he had done nothing wrong. It's time to give that woman a little punishment. 11. Block the yacht and conduct a carpet search of the island. Still no trace of me. David's complexion became worse day by day. Meanwhile, Butler Murray was tidying up my room. He accidentally came across my pregnancy test report. David's hands were shaking as he held the report. He took 2 steps back and said, "I don't believe it. This is fake. What trick is she playing?" Butler Murray said confidently, "Mr. Mitchell, this is true." I called and asked. "Madam went to the obstetrics and gynecology hospital 3 months ago. The obstetrician said that she is pregnant with a little princess this time." David couldn't hold back any longer. "Get lost. How much money did that woman Sophia give you for you to follow her and deceive me? 4 years ago. We had a child. That was our first baby." David and I took the sudden arrival of this little life very seriously. I went to the best private hospital and invited the most authoritative experts. Have prenatal checkups on time. But the child was not saved. After a genetic test, it was found that David's family had a genetic disease. There is something wrong with the child's DNA. The survival of the fittest will naturally flow away. But the doctor said it was okay. Recessive inheritance is a matter of probability. If it is a boy, he will inherit the genetic defect, but if it is a girl, she will not. The loss of his child was a huge blow to David, and he was unable to get over it for a while. Later I often took him to the beach. I said, "Do you know why I am so obsessed with finding pink dolphins? It's because an enzyme can be extracted from their blood, and this enzyme can improve the genetic disease in your family. David, I will find it. I just need a small sample so that I can synthesize the enzyme without harming the dolphins. We will have babies, boys and girls. We will have both sons and daughters. But he was at that time. He just thought I was joking and he didn't believe there were pink dolphins in the world. Even if there is. What I call enzymes are also a fantasy. He never believed me. David's hands were shaking as he flipped through the pregnancy test report. There is a photo attached to the back of the report. That is, it was a picture of a pink dolphin. There was a line of small words written under the photo. My dream has come true. There are really pink dolphins in this world. My research has hope. Even if not for David, it's for the millions of people suffering from type X thalassemia. Come on, Sophia. You are the best. The time reads September 20th, 2024, 4:32 p.m. Half an hour before the tsunami hit. David was panicked. Turns out I wasn't lying. We actually saw pink dolphins that day. David looked upset. Emma put on a coat and walked over carefully. David, what's wrong with you? She saw the photo in David's hand. Emma panicked. She coughed violently twice. Sophia's photo editing skills are really good. She actually edited the white dolphin into pink. What we saw that day was clearly a white dolphin. David suppressed his anger and said, 7 days ago, you said you didn't see anything. I was frightened and forgot, David. You're not blaming me, are you? I was really frightened. My mind went blank and I can't remember anything. Whoa. Even if I saw a pink dolphin, it's just a beast. But she took me out to sea knowing there would be a tsunami. Woohoo, I don't know what I did wrong to make Sister Sophia hate me so much. Brother David, you know I have a fear of the deep sea. You don't know, I was so scared at that time. I thought I would never see you again in this life. David couldn't bear it any longer. He pushed Emma to the ground. Roll. Then he called in housekeeper Murray. Tell everyone. Even if we have to drain all the water from this sea, we must find Sophia. The bodyguard next to him was so scared that he fell to his knees and said, Boss Mitchell, have you forgotten that you have already asked Butler Murray to get out? Get out. Get out of here. Okay, Mr. Mitchell. Come back. Find my wife first and then get out of me. 12. A juvenile tiger shark eats too much. Stranded on the beach. Emma was ecstatic upon seeing this. David has been trying to find me these days. I haven't had a full meal. The doctor said that if he didn't eat on time, his stomach problems would get worse. To this end, Emma thought of many ways, but even inviting a 5-star chef to cook for her, it was of no avail. David said, I was so angry with that woman that I couldn't eat. Although I said something wrong 2 days ago and made David angry. But since she grew up with him, Emma knew that David was just saying that out of anger and he wouldn't really be angry with her. Maybe if she cooks for him next time, David won't be so mean to her. In just over a week, David lost a lot of weight. It's time to make David a nutritious meal to nourish his body. Thinking this, Emma sent someone to carry the little tiger shark into the hotel kitchen. She plans to make a braised shark's fin. This is a dish she specifically learned from a chef. This dish has a rich and fragrant flavor, and the shark fin melts in your mouth, making it perfect for nourishing the body. I heard that after marrying Sophia always talked about protecting marine life and never ate shark fin. He didn't eat it himself and didn't let David eat it either. Emma shook her head and laughed. Sophia is such a hard-working woman. Emma asked the bodyguard to carry the tiger shark into the kitchen and prepared to do it herself. Shark fins can be cut off and made into braised shark fins or shark fins with sauce. The fish can be made into meatballs or sliced and grilled. The little shark is fat and beautiful, with a round belly, thin skin and tender meat. It must taste delicious. Emma hummed a little tune as she cut open the tiger shark's belly. The tiger shark's already bloated belly suddenly burst open, and a lot of red, green and colorful things poured out from it. I am floating in the air, unable to stop retching. What gurgled out of the fish's belly was nothing but my broken body. Emma, what are you doing? Why does it stink so bad? The shark had a strong fishy smell, so David followed the scent and went to the kitchen. At this time, Emma was already terrified. David covered Emma's eyes with his hands and said, It's okay. This happens a lot at the beach. It may not be a person. It could be a sea lion or a sea otter. Yes, I grew up by the sea. I have heard many stories about sharks eating people. When I first started dating David, we would exchange secrets under the stars. I said, although I grew up by the sea, I am most afraid of sharks. David blinked and asked me why. I stared at the starry sky in a daze. When I was 5 years old, my father was out fishing when an adult megalodon overturned his fishing boat. Neither the man nor the boat returned. David hugged me tightly after hearing this and said, Sophia, it's all over. I will protect you well in the future. I won't let sharks hurt you again. But now, the opposite happened. 14. When David saw the shark, he was stunned at first. Then he immediately called someone to clean the kitchen. I can still remember what happened that night clearly. I still can't forget the pain of being torn apart by a shark. I am floating in the air, gnashing teeth in hatred. It seemed as if God heard my curse. The filthy trash can was accidentally kicked over by the servant. The trash can rolled twice on the ground, with a blood-stained diamond ring inside. Roll out from a bloody mess. The diamond ring fell to the ground with a loud noise. David was just about to leave with Emma in his arms when he was suddenly attracted by the sound of a ring falling to the ground. He turned his head silently. Next second, he knelt on the ground. Hold up the ring. David brought it to me personally when I got married. Mitchell's family was very rich at that time, and he said he would give me the best. David originally ordered a pigeon egg worth 7 figures. But I laughed and teased him. Mr. Mitchell, how can I work if you ask me to carry a house with me at all times? At my request, he changed it to a smaller one. The diamond on the ring is very small, but he personally engraved our initials on the inside of the ring. I have always treasured it. The ring is worn all year round and never taken off. David obviously knew it too. He slowly squatted on the ground and picked up the ring. This is the engagement ring that Sophia and I got together. Impossible, ha 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 ha. This is impossible. He stared at the trash can and started laughing. Then he started digging at the bloody flesh like crazy. Finally, in the middle of a pile of rotten meat, I dug out a piece of finger. There is a small tooth mark on the second joint of my ring finger, which is the mark of stitches I got after being bitten by a dog when I was a child. David finally believed it. His face turned pale and he fell to his knees with a thud. Impossible, ha ha ha, impossible, this can't be Sophia. She is such a good swimmer. She swims like a loach, ha ha. She must still be alive and hiding from me. He grabbed the terrified Emma. Emma, this isn't Sophia, this is fake. She's kidding me, someone who's doing this. Take this thing out and throw it away. Keep looking. Call international rescue. No matter how much it costs, you must find Sophia. Even if she hides at the end of the world, I will find her. He cried and laughed at the same time as if he had lost his soul. He then tried hard to put the ring on his finger. Sophia, tell me this isn't true, you're hiding, you're kidding me. Look at him with tears streaming down his face. I just find it funny. Didn't he think that I would die when he had me tied to the bow of the ship? Who is he showing this to? The servants were trembling with fear, and no one dared to touch the mass of flesh and blood, until someone found a piece of my clothing in the shark's stomach. David completely broke down. 15. The carpet search at sea also produced results. Human bones and a small earring were found in some shark feces. It was a birthday present David gave me on my 30th birthday, and he put it on me personally. Only at this point did David truly believe it. I am really dead. He was pushed into the abyss with his own hands. Emma felt sorry for David and stayed by his side all the time. Brother David, sister Sophia is really something. If she hadn't untied the rope and escaped, she wouldn't have been eaten by the shark. It was all because she overestimated her own abilities. She only needed to be tied up for 3 days, but she insisted on escaping. Now she is buried in the belly of a fish. She overestimated her own abilities and underestimated nature. She should be afraid of nature. David seemed to be awakened by Emma. His overwhelming hatred now had a way to vent. He said, "Strangle all the sharks in the nearby waters. I want to avenge Sophia." It was them. They killed Sophia and my child. 16. Next, the Mitchell group carried out an inhumane massacre of marine life in the nearby waters. Hundreds of shark carcasses littered the beach. The shark's blood dyed the originally golden beach red. David blocked the news. Sharks are being slaughtered wantonly. It's all these beasts' fault. If it weren't for them, Sophia wouldn't have died. You killed Sophia and my child. I will destroy your entire clan. He was like crazy, dancing on piles of shark carcasses. David was covered in blood, like a Shura crawling out of hell. Director Perkins, who was far away in another sea area, discovered something unusual. Just a few days, the number of sharks in our waters has decreased significantly. Plus, I kept disappearing. He chose to call the police. But David destroyed the evidence and colluded with everyone else to say that I escaped on the lifeboat. As for the declining shark population, he didn't know either. He was just a businessman, not a marine biologist. He completely destroyed the marine food chain. He clapped his hands and walked away. Half a year later, with the strong matchmaking of the Mitchell family, he married Emma. I heard that at their wedding ceremony, David caught a pink dolphin, the only one left in the world. His wedding was on a private island. The island is surrounded by the sea. No outsiders. He is on the island. The newly adult dolphin was once again brutally slaughtered. He cut out the pink dolphin's eyes. I heard him say, "Sophia lost her life just for you. Now your life is in my hands. It's a pity that she will never come back." The dolphins are crying. The sobbing shook the heavens and the earth. I am a soul, but I shed tears along with it. Pink dolphins are a gift from nature, and a treasure that can save tens of millions of families. But now he is being tortured here. Suddenly, I felt my soul being torn apart. It was as if something was pushing me forward. Open your eyes again. I returned to taking Emma out to sea. Yes, that was the day when the tsunami hit. 17. Sophia, didn't you say there was no tsunami? Why is there a strong wind at sea? I'm so scared. I'm telling you, I have a fear of the deep sea. You don't want to kill me, do you? The low roar of the pink dolphin still echoes in my ears. I suddenly remembered the day I died. In my dying moments, I seemed to see the pink dolphin again. It was the one I had been looking for all my life, and it was right in front of me. It jumped out of the sea, leaving a rainbow in the sky. At that time, I made a wish to it. If I could do it all over again, I would protect myself better. It hurt it, so it gave me half a year to wake up. Let time go back and take me back to the day when I went out to sea. 18. Emma was knocked to the ground by the oncoming huge wave. She cursed me in the wind and rain, said I was going to kill her. Then she was right. But it's not me who wants to kill her. It's her who wants to kill herself. People should always have awe for nature. I will return this sentence to her verbatim. I checked the voyage recorder. Make sure there are no problems with the instruments. Next, just wait for the fish to take the bait. Really. In the wind and rain, I saw David, who came anxiously to me. This time he also brought the huge yacht. Emma, I finally found you. The tsunami is coming. Hurry up and get on the boat. Sophia's boat won't last long. Emma jumped on board without hesitation. As soon as she got up, she threw herself into David's arms and sobbed, "Wow, wow, wow, I'm sorry, David, I made you worry. Please save Sister Sophia. She didn't bring me here on purpose. She really didn't know that I almost drowned when I was a child, so I'm afraid of the sea. Besides, she didn't expect a tsunami to happen." David looked at me, who was soaking wet, and said coldly, "She is an oceanographer. How could she not know there was a tsunami? She did it on purpose. What a vicious woman." In my previous life, I didn't want to board his big ship. But there were more than 20 people on the boat. Who are the fathers and who are the children? I don't want to see innocent people die in the sea. So I followed him onto the boat. But my soft-heartedness in the previous life only brought me endless humiliation. This life, I choose to respect the orders of others. I said to David, "A big ship has a big target and can't withstand the wind and waves. David, you all come to my small boat." Emma was terrified again when she heard this. "Brother David, I don't want to go on her boat. When the waves come, her boat creaks and squeaks. I'm scared." David sneered after hearing this. "Just relying on your shabby little boat? Sophia, don't be ridiculous. Your boat will break into pieces if a wave hits it." Seeing that I didn't make any move to get on the boat, David felt that I had embarrassed him. He waved his hand and ordered the sailors to remove the ropes. "Well, I gave you a chance, but you are always so self-righteous. So you can just fend for yourself." A group of people stood on the deck and looked at me. They all looked at each other with mockery. Emma lay delicately in David's arms. He mouthed to me, "You're dead." Actually, David didn't really want me to die at that time. He just wanted to teach me a lesson. Want to see me crying and begging him to save my life. After all, it was 5 years ago. That's how he begged me, crying. At that time, he was seriously ill and dying. He grabbed my hand tightly and said, "Please, please don't abandon me, please save me." Back then, I never thought of abandoning him. But this time, I really don't want him anymore. 19. The waves quickly separated the two ships. Next, a strong wind blew. Huge waves rose in the sea. The boat is nimble. The boat was light, and with my years of experience, I dodged one huge wave after another, successfully avoided the tsunami. But the big ship was not so lucky. David's ship soon disappeared in the wind and waves. The sky finally cleared up. The day I went ashore, I received the news that David's yacht had sunk. Their boat was overturned by the first huge wave and never came up again. All 25 people on board were killed. As a survivor, I was investigated by the police. The cruise recorder on the research vessel recorded the incident. I am innocent. Even the one who was abandoned. God helped me. Let me survive. But the police let me go. But the Mitchell family had no intention of letting me go. David's mother insisted that I was the one who killed David. If I didn't work at the beach, David wouldn't have insisted on going there. Even if the facts were right in front of her, she would not admit it. She wanted to kill me to accompany David. I didn't say anything and threw out the pregnancy test report. "Mrs. Mitchell, you can kill me, but you have to ask the baby in my belly. This is the only bloodline of David left in this world." As soon as she finished speaking, David's mother burst into tears. Yes, Mitchell's family has a history of genetic diseases, and there are few male descendants in the family. After several generations, by the time of David's mother, David was the only son left. I approached David's mother and whispered, "Don't think I don't know what you did to get the resort land. If you don't do what I say, you will end up in jail." David's mother couldn't catch her breath and was sent to the ICU because of me. After David died, all of the Mitchell family's assets fell into my hands. David's mother was speechless, and for the sake of Mitchell's descendants, she had to agree to my request. I took out a large portion of the money, continued to invest in marine business. Sharks eat people. But it's not scary. What's scary is human beings. Just live in harmony with marine life. Do not invade their territory. They will not do anything to harm humans. The scene of David killing a shark in his previous life is still vivid in my mind. In this life, I will do my best to protect the marine ecology. Give them a piece of pure land. 20. 1 month later, a baby tiger shark was found stranded on the beach. The tiger shark had been dead for a long time, and its body had become gigantic. As the climate gets hotter, its belly swelled and exploded. The blood in his stomach flowed all over the floor. It flowed out along with the blood. It is a small section of a human finger with a ring on it. I covered my mouth and sneered. "You knew to wear a ring before you die? It's too late. How could a man love a woman who has seen him at his most miserable and embarrassed?" I was a witness to David's most embarrassing moments. He got better later, but whenever he saw me, he would be reminded of the terrible things that happened 5 years ago. He didn't know why he married me. Did he treat me as his savior? Or did he fall in love with me unconsciously? So he was very conflicted, constantly testing me and hurting me, leaving me physically and mentally exhausted. David took off his wedding ring on the day Emma came back. Before he died, did he think clearly that he actually loved me? Disgusting and crazy. Fortunately, he is dead. I ordered the beach to be cleaned up. Someone said, "Sophia, why don't you check this finger to see if there are any missing persons recently? It's so tragic. He was eaten by a shark. I wonder how worried his family must be." I shook my head. No need, maybe his family has already forgotten him. The beach was cleaned. Waves came one after another. Wash away the sins above. A pink dolphin jumped out in the distance. It jumped out of the water. Chirp to your heart's content. Draw a rainbow in the sky. This time, the sky really cleared up.